All right, what's happening, beautiful people of the internet? Today is Thursday, April 14th, doing another episode of our business highlight series here in Organic Outbound Secrets. If you are watching this in Organic Outbound Secrets, then you already know what we do and how we do it. But if you are somebody who's watching this on YouTube or are interested in growing your business as a whole, check out facebook.com/group/Organic Outbound Secrets. Today's guest, Mustafa Husseini. How are you today, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we're going to start off real quick with the link persyo.com. That's persyo.com/apply. We're going to talk a little bit about what you do, how you do it, kind of your background. But for those of you, we'll drop that in the description somewhere in the Facebook group so they can come and jump on a call with you if that makes sense. But let's start it off. Tell us about who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I've been in the marketing world for the past 15 years, ran a marketing agency from 2010 to 2018. We did full service A to Z marketing, online, the digital stuff. And 2017, I read the 80-20 principle by Richard Koch, basically changed the way I think and I do business, which kind of helped me drop my agency almost overnight and kept coaching and consulting. And then back in 2017, as soon as I read the 80-20 principle, I started sharing the stuff that was essential to marketing through my course, Simple Marketing Formula, which was helping people to reduce the fluff and the anxiety and the noise in the marketing world, because there's way too much going on. Now, so I was teaching the 6 components. The last component was always customer retention. So the story is that my favorite marketing activity has always been customer retention. And the reason behind that is I've learned this from Dan Kennedy, saying that, you got to do retention stuff. You got to nurture your customers. It's a lot easier, yada, yada, yada. So this one time I was out of cash. I was trying to meet payroll and I was out of cash. So after pulling my hair, after a couple of days, I pick up the phone, make a round of calls to my customers. And on the day of, I get cash appointments, referrals, meetings for the next week or two from an existing list. So we kept doing it. I was like, this is amazing. We're just going to do it every month, every quarter. Kept doing it. And I started teaching it in my course. And I teach the people and say, you know what, people, here's the script. Here's the process. Pick up the phone today. Use the script and you're going to see results today. Nobody would do it. And then I keep teaching, and then people, I even have people in my mastermind program, complaining about sales and leads and whatnot. We're like, here's the process. You have 2,000 people. They know, like, and trust you. Make a phone call. They wouldn't do it. So long story short, I convinced one of my students after like 6 months to make a round of calls. She comes back next week and she's like, Mustafa, you wouldn't believe I made 5 phone calls and I had 60% conversion. I'm like, awesome. I told you this thing works. I'm like, keep going. She wouldn't keep going. Right. I'm like, what do you need to see to make this work? And then, or to continue doing it. Sorry.
Sure.
But she wouldn't do it. And so a year or two ago, I had a guy who was making phone calls for me. And in a couple of my workshops, when it comes to the retention part, I'm like, hey, I have a guy who makes phone calls for your list. Who wants an introduction? Everybody raises their hand. And I'm like, all right, that's interesting. So we made introductions. I'm like, there's a business here. And knowing that almost every business has a follow-up problem, we ended up starting a call center specializing in follow-ups, retention, and resurrection of a list. That's the long response to your simple question.
Well, it's interesting because most people have focused so heavy top of funnel, like even the stuff that we do, right? Outbound LinkedIn, outbound email, outbound Facebook, like all that activity. Everyone always wants to buy like new, more top of funnel. I don't think there's really anybody, and maybe there are other than you, but I don't think there's too many people marketing or selling or offering the service that you have. But really, you're right. I mean, it really makes sense to just take the same efforts that you're doing top of funnel to people who don't know, like, and trust you, and just do the exact same service in the funnel or at the bottom of the funnel when they're already a customer and maybe they could be a customer of something else, right? So absolutely, I agree with you 100% that that's a huge value add. Now, are these only for service-based businesses, product companies, software companies? What are the best fits for doing this kind of work?
So we work with a lot of service-based companies and who are established and they have a proven high ticket offer. and their high ticket offers start anywhere north of $2,000 and goes up, higher. So it's worth it for them to hire us and make the calls. And so, I agree with you. Like, and don't get me wrong, people need to do new lead generation, but so the biggest problem that we solve is the fact that most people have a list and they're out there spending a lot of time and money trying to find new people while ignoring their existing list. So you got to generate new leads, but you also have to take care of your existing people, because it's like you're leaving money on the table, and it's like a vault of cash that's just left. You just need to open it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. And for the people that have like these high ticket offers, right? Anything from $2,000 to $10,000, whatever the offer is, what does the process look like when they work with you? So they have all these people in their funnel. They've either said yes or no to an offer. They're in the CRM. They've sat there for a while and they're just a lead. But what does the process with you look like?
So we work with a few different campaigns. One is like people that run webinars and events, right? They attend a webinar. Maybe some people didn't buy, some people didn't show up, and some people did buy, right? We call all three groups. People that did buy, we ask them for referral. People that didn't buy, we ask them if they're ready to move forward. Maybe they're still thinking about it and they need that personal, friendly touch, right? And if they're ready, then we'll provide a link. And if they're confused, they have questions, we'll book an appointment with the coaches and the company to help them, move forward. So that's with the events. And then we have people that are existing customers, right? Existing customers, you ever dealt with like a vendor where they call you as soon as the payment fails?
Yeah.
Right? That's the only time they think of you. So we kind of change that around. We're like, we stay in touch with the list. We call the entire list every 3 months, have a very friendly, nurturing conversation saying, hey, it's me. How's it going? Are you happy? Do you have any feedback for us? Is there anything else we could do for you? And if you have an upsell kind of offer for them, you could bump them up to the next level or something else you could do for them. Sure. And we always ask for a referral. Who do you know that we could do business with? Do you know other business owners that you'd be open to introduce us to? Right. And if you ask 10 people from your existing list who know, like, and trust you, you could at least get one referral with a 50% chance of closing that referral. Right. And then we have people that have been on the list, maybe past customers, or what we call the dead portion of the list that we haven't done anything with. We call them up. Hey, how's it going? You downloaded a lead magnet from us years ago. How's it going? I'm just calling and say hi, stay in touch. Is there anything I could do for you? We got this thing coming up, a webinar, an event. And then we always ask those guys also for a referral, because you never know who knows who.
Oh, right? That's the biggest part, right? Is you don't know where the next referrals come from if you don't ask for it. And those people can give 10 referrals and you might not even know because you didn't ask, right?
Exactly. They could refer you like to a massive, big pool of referrals, right? Or what Chet Holmes and what's his name, Russell Brunson calls like a dream 100 type of referral. You never know.
Or right? where they have multiple people. And that's the beautiful part about referrals too, is yes, there's a cost to referrals. There's always a cost to referrals, just like everything else, but the cost is much more linear than running $10,000 a month in ads or something similar to that, right? It's very much like, how can you do a better job? How can you get the right people? And the people who get success, they're generally the people who put in the effort. Doesn't matter if you're done for, you're done with you. And those people know other people that are successful. So it's like the best kind of customer too on the back.
Absolutely. So much easier. And it's so much easier to ask an existing customer where you have a relationship and they have a taste of what you do to afford a referral, or it's about 50 to 70% easier to sell to an existing or past customer than it is to sell to someone new.
Well, and the chance of that person actually moving forward, not only is it easier to talk to them, they already know, like, trust you through proximity, but the chance of them buying, like you said, 50% probably close rate on referrals, right?
Yeah.
So you just make your sales team more pumped up. You make the founders happier. All the people in the mix are having a better experience because that's a better customer. So just because we have limited time, I want to make sure we get to the kind of model here. So if someone is listening to this, because inside Organic Outbound Secrets, where we're going to post this, there's a lot of people who are service-based businesses. They've built lists either through lead magnets or through outbound or through inbound or through Facebook, whatever it is, right? They've generated their list and it's been stale for a while. What's the first thing that they should be doing before they give you a call to start working on, growing that list and activating that and turning that into actual cash?
The first thing is we have a conversation with them to assess what is happening, what is not happening. One thing that they could do to start nurturing the list is send an absolute minimum of 1 email per month to the entire list. So at least they hear from you. At least they see your name, right? They know that you exist, right? And then we start dialing, we start calling. But some people are like, well, I need to get ready to work with you. We're like, no. Our service is pretty turnkey. You don't have to do much. It's like, so I ask people like, if 5 people show up tomorrow and they want to do business with you, will you take their business or will you turn them away? Right? If you take them in, perfect. Let's have a conversation because we might just do that for you. And you don't have to change, like revamp your business and the rest of it. So let's have a conversation and see where you're at, I guess.
And what about the volume of the list, right? So there's going to be someone who has, like you mentioned, 2,000 people on their list. And there's people like us that have, 182,000 people on the list and growing, right? At 200, 300, 400 people a day. What is the kind of threshold? You talked about calling through the list over and over again every 3 months. Like what's the sweet spot for people in terms of list size?
So ideally we'd like to have a company that has 2,000 to 4,000 contacts on the list. And then we could do, and then there's no limit on how many associates and agents we could assign to a list of 150,000, 200,000. Yeah. They just keep staying in touch. Right.
And when there's net new, how do you guys treat the net new people? So let's say, the person's got 10,000 people on their list today. In 2 months from now, they're going to have 11,000 people. Do you call from top to bottom on the list? Do you have some indicators that you guys feel is a good fit? Like, how do you decide when there's that kind of volume?
So we start working down the list. Well, here's how we do it. We do the 80-20 analysis. We call the 20% that gives us 80% of the sales first. Those are our VIP people. So we need to take care of those people first, right? And then we just work down the list. If there's new people, we have a sequence where we put them through, and our CRM and our software allows us to just follow up with them every 3 months and stay in touch and nurture. Right. If they go on a time sequence, if they come in, we have a time sequence that we need to follow up with.
Got it. Okay. Very good. So again, for people who have a big enough list, a couple thousand people minimum, they have a high ticket offer, ideally $2,000, but probably more like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, something high ticket. The higher the ticket, the better it's going to be because the ROI will be there. They need to have names, phone numbers, and emails, ideally, right? Email the list once a day, once a week, once a month. Get the calling team to be calling through the whole list every 3 months so that there's good follow-up there. What else do people need in place in order to be successful with you? Anything else?
No, that's it. As long as they have a list, if they have phone numbers, we could help them out. And even if they don't have phone numbers, we work with them to start putting campaigns through to start collecting phone numbers.
Yeah.
Like I work with people that have like a list of 15,000 people with barely any phone numbers. And then we start implementing like a phone number field where we start collecting it
so that you guys can do calling. Yeah. Okay. And so for those of you who are listening to this, again, if you're a coach, consultant, agency owner, service provider, B2B, it could be I'm sure there's other models, but if you're somebody who has a list with the high ticket offer, you can look at persio.com/apply. You could talk to Mustafa about the way that he and the team could potentially help you with that. Again, that's persio.com/apply. There's a video there. There's a calendar there as well. So you can watch the video. It's like 2.5 minutes and you can book a time to kind of figure out how you could call through the list. The offer is super simple. That's the beauty of what you guys are doing, right? It's not a complex offer. It's not like, hey, well, what's the outcome? The outcome is you are going to get someone to call your list for you so that you don't have to take that work on it as yourself as the business owner. And out of that, you're either going to get referrals, net new leads, appointments, or some other kind of revenue generating activity that Mustafa and the team can do. Before we wrap it up, because I do want to keep it fairly short, what is the biggest piece of advice you would give people in order to monetize their list? Number one thing they should be doing themselves.
Just stay in touch. Stay in touch with your list and then work on that relationship. It's like people like ignoring your list is like you get married and you start ignoring your wife, right? Like, why did you get married? Why did you spend all that time, money, energy, effort, systems, processes, and resources to bring a customer in or bring a lead in and start ignoring them while you're out there looking for new people? So that's my one piece of advice.
Yeah. Awesome. Again, for those of you who are interested in reactivating your list, you want people to call persyo.com. It's PERSYO.com/apply. Thanks so much for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Likewise. Great to be here.